documenting a structure that we found last night.
I'll go up to the house, bang on it, and say, "I do not believe."
Yeah.
Now,
What the fuck was that?
Did you hear that?
We're finally up and running. This is Cryptic Heartland podcast. Sorry about the delay. Remember, this is the podcast talks about everything from paranormal, UFOs, Sasquatch, pretty much everything under the sun, and then some. I'm one of your hosts, Leo Fernandez, with Everyday Legacy Paranormal. To my left, I have
Jason with Everyday Legacy Paranormal and Road Trip Paranormal and Bigfoot in Kansas. And I'm Max with Everyday Legacy Paranormal and whatever else Jason wants me to do.
Roth Christopherson with Everyday Legacy Paranormal and Road Trip Paranormal.
Michelle, Road Trip Paranormal, Everyday Legacy.
behind the scenes. We had the man that broke everything. I'm kidding. Team founder, Mr.
No
Jeremiah.
camera on me tonight.
Jeremiah Norwood. Sorry about the delay. We had some technical difficulties like we talked about. We have an in-studio guests. We have Jamie, who may or may not pop in and say hi every now and then. So,
hi!
She did.
She goes.
Right on cue.
Who's that?
All right. So as you can see, we are live. You have the live chat on the right. You can come in and talk to us. We can answer your questions. You can also call in. Is that the phone number still good? 316-200-9066. Is that live?
It's not me.
Who is that?
Is that yours, Jeremiah?
What?
That phone number is yours?
Yes, that's mine.
Who are we
Right here.
calling?
So we are good. So once again, that is the live number. We call in, take calls, we'll answer any questions you have about what we're about to talk about, which we'll get going pretty fast here. Sorry about that since we're kind of pressed for time. Our plan tonight is to talk about last night's investigation we had. We had a public investigation out at Wilson, Kansas at the infamous Midland Railroad Hotel. We've been there about 5 times now, and we've had some great success. I like it. It's a beautiful place. I think everybody else seems to agree with me, whether they want to or not. So we had a sold-out event, second one in a week in a row, 2 weeks in a row. We had a sold-out event. Last night was with the Adventurous Babes out of Wichita, Kansas, and they were a fun bunch. Had some good stuff happen. We'll talk about what we experienced, some of our takeaways, just things like that, and answer any questions, like I said. So, with that being said, how's everybody's weekend going?
Now we've been together a couple times.
I know. I knew the answer, but people at home don't know. No, as you can see, we're all tired and haggard because some of us got maybe an hour or two of sleep. We've been up for over 24 hours easily, probably more than that, more like 36 probably. Anywho. So, yeah, I know I'm tired, and I know you're tired, and who cares about them? I'm kidding.
I'm good, folks.
So, who
I
wants to
trained
jump
for
in?
this.
Who wants to jump in with anything they want to discuss as far as last night's investigation?
It went well for the guests, I think, besides my group. And I didn't see a damn thing, basically.
Just froze.
Okay.
We're froze, still alive.
You're still on audio.
Yeah, quite possibly.
Okay. We may still be live. Let me put this out real quick here. See if that helps. I'm just on your bandwidth, maybe.
Yep, we're still going. Yeah, we're still going.
Okay.
It's just frozen up there.
Yep. Sorry, we can't tell if we're frozen. We are frozen in the studio. On our screens, we can't see it. So, but I guess we're still going out live. We're still good, apparently. So, last night's investigation went. I thought it was fun. I know you said some of your groups didn't have experiences. And some of them
Well,
did.
it was like hit or miss with our group because we were basically starting out at a not so much active local spot over there at the soda shop because we didn't just do the Midland Railroad Hotel, but we did the soda shop across the street and we went over to the cemetery.
That's Grandma's Soda Shop.
Yes.
Sorry, I just want to make sure they get their name out. 'Cause they
Absolutely.
take care of us. We always go over there and eat because it's wonderful food.
Jerry and Virginia
Yep.
are the owners of that. They also own the small jailhouse / water tower that's in the background of the soda shop in the back.
Yep.
Pretty historic there for the town.
It's Jerry and Virginia Florian. They're great people.
Yes.
We love them to death.
Wonderful food.
So it started out kind of not very active on my part. I know Paula and I were over there at the soda shop upstairs starting off, and then Roth was with his group downstairs starting off. Or no, you started off up top.
I started up top.
And then we went downstairs. And it was just not very active over there for us, but it seemed to be our issue wherever we went because we just kind of tailed in wherever somebody else was, and you all were having activity. It seems like everywhere, and so it was just kind of like a dud for us. But
My first rotation was a dud as well.
yeah,
The cemetery.
yeah, cemetery was I think a dud for everybody.
It was very peaceful. I feel like
It was
there's a couple shadows, and Michelle and I saw. I think was it a white mist, Michelle? We saw in the shadow or in the,
Yeah.
in the
I
cemetery.
didn't see that.
We saw a dark shadow at one point. We heard a couple voices. We couldn't
Yeah,
male voices that I was only male out there at the time, so it couldn't have been me talking. We couldn't figure out where they were coming from because the cemetery sits just what was that east of town? Yeah, east of town.
Yeah.
Southeast, yeah.
Yep. So there was nobody out there. Shouldn't have been out there. If so, we could see them coming in.
Yeah.
There's only one road to go.
Yeah.
There's
that goes by
the
there.
field further east,
Yep.
and then it was just the road off in the distance, and
So
an oil pump that kept turning on.
yeah.
That thing was annoying.
So we're pretty sure that what we heard was that's what was getting carried in the wind. The voice itself. We're pretty sure it was somewhere in the cemetery. The voice.
it sounded
That's-
real close to
Yes. We couldn't make out what it said
Wow.
though. We weren't asking questions. I don't think at the time.
Male or female?
Male.
Male.
Definitely male. 'Cause like I said, I was on male there at the
Yeah.
time, so it wasn't me speaking.
Well,
But
well, that's cool. I mean,
Yeah.
it was.
I know that Erin had an experience out there right as we were getting out of the truck. She heard something behind that big shed.
oh yeah,
Um,
that's right.
but we passed it off.
Where'd you guys park at?
At the shed.
At the shed.
Yeah, because I wanted the cars to be under the lights.
Oh, okay.
So,
I hid in the dark.
That'd have been smart. I did it in the dark too.
but she said she heard something behind there, and she
Which-
felt like something was following us along that tree line.
Yeah.
Which there were a couple shadows, but that was about it.
It's funny you say that. Yeah, I wish. It's funny you say that because when I took one of our guests on there later on, she did see a black shadow back there. It was enough to scare her that she's like, "Let's go over there in less than
Man,
5
you guys
minutes."
weren't there long.
And that's why we came back. So, as far as activity from our group, does it matter?
Some
Just
fishing,
not-
like,
No.
As
I was
far
just
as
saying minutes. Sorry. Go ahead.
Jason's tired and grumpy, so
I'm not grumpy.
okay, he's just grumpy, not even tired. Anyways, no. As far as activity we've had, the story is there's a couple of ghosts and these spirits that roam the building. Up in 305 is the infamous sheriff named Bart, who was hung. Different stories behind it, what possibly happened. One of them was his son was gambling and they shot and killed him on Main Street, and he came into town to, for whatever reason, to handle the business, take care of it, revenge, I don't know. And a group of people got a hold of him, took him upstairs to which the third floor used to be a chicken coop.
Yeah.
And they took him up there and strung him from the rafters and hung him.
Right.
We know for sure he was hung. He died on a certain spot where his room is, where the room is now. It wasn't a room at the time. Sorry. Room 305.
At least in that vicinity.
Yeah.
Of 305.
Yeah, it might have been more, I think it's more to the bathroom, honestly,
Yeah.
in that kind of area.
Well, we've had activity
Right.
there in that area.
Yeah.
Why there's activity in the bathroom, I don't know.
I know in Roaston there's plenty of activity going on, so he's notorious for
Guys,
kidding.
what he's actually talking about is our group. We had the voice box going.
Such a liar.
And we actually, and you know, and when we received this through the voice box, we actually received innocent,
Yeah, that's right. I heard that.
Oh.
and so that made me think back about the two different, you know, possible ways that he was killed.
Yeah.
So you
Well-
know, maybe it's possible because you know, if he was innocent, and something like that
thinks they're
happens until proven guilty.
We'll see.
I'm
Anyway.
innocent after being proven guilty.
So,
I really think the innocent means that he feels like he did no wrongdoing and he was
Unjustly.
justly killed, basically, or hung. But
Either
Were
way,
you
he's
using the app?
angry.
yeah, he
very
doesn't like.
Oh yeah,
I challenged
I
him
didn't.
yesterday.
I don't
He
have
told me
the
to
app
F off. So yeah.
No,
But-
the app.
So that's one entity up there we know for sure. The other one is a little girl who likes to wander the whole building. She's been seen as far as there's 4 floors to that place. She's been seen up in room 309, her main room. She's also been seen on every floor.
We'll just listen to you guys.
ask Jeremiah about that because Jeremiah claims that that's a
Hey,
good deal.
We're live here. Hello.
Sorry, we got a question to ask Jeremiah when he gets
That's
done.
fine. So anyway,
That's a
we
good conversation.
had room 309 that had a little girl. Her name is Rose or Rosa. Nobody knows 100% sure. No documentation as far as her being there, but we know that we caught her there. Everybody knows about her. The guests, the people that run the place, the cleaning crew, they've all seen her. They've seen her like in the kitchen area. They've seen her pretty much everywhere. They've caught her on camera dancing in the middle of the bar area down in the basement.
Isn't that a more recent?
Yeah.
well, as
Last
recent
year.
as it was several months ago.
Problem is, that they went back and looked at the DVR that they have running in their own establishment, and they could never find it. Either A, it was too far out, them keeps their video for a month, or somebody who was operating didn't know what they were doing, possibly, maybe deleted it. We think it's just, she told us that they thought
They
it was
ran out of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's understandable, but it'd be nice to see what she looks like, which we think we may have possibly seen her last night from a guest
It was still daylight out.
who was taking. We have one of the guests from the Ventures page. Anybody can tell a story. Go ahead. Who wants to, I don't have to talk all the time.
No, go ahead.
Damn it. No. One of the Ventures babes was taking pictures, like a selfie, just for fun, because she's, on an adventure, right?
And she was in her bedroom,
Yep.
sitting on the
By
bed.
herself. It was a single bedroom. She was taking just a regular selfie. Nothing special about it. She noticed something. She was wearing glasses. She noticed there was something in one of her left eye lenses, and the right eye didn't show it. So she brought it to the road's attention, and he called us and had us look at it too. And when you able to enhance the picture, blow it up, it looks like the image of a woman in white, a girl.
Like
You can kind of see facial features, we think.
Yeah.
Now, could it be matrixing? Possibly.
that's the first thing I thought of.
Yeah, I agree. I'm always a skeptic when it comes to stuff, anything,
But-
especially orbs or pictures and stuff like that. It's easy
The
to
thing-
fake that.
The thing that made me not think of the matrixing is what you brought to my attention when you take a picture or do a selfie and you're wearing glasses. You will always have the two reflections
It'd be double
and
images.
double images
and she
on.
did it later
and
on
she
in front
didn't.
of us, and it did have the double image.
Yeah.
But in this case, it was just in one eye, I wanted to get her back up there because it was still daylight, so we can recreate the actual picture again as closest to the actual lighting that she had going at that time. So it was probably within 30 minutes of her taking the picture. So not much light had changed, positioning, and she couldn't duplicate it again. So
She actually posted the picture, I think, on
She
our
did.
website. So anybody that's listening
Facebook
or
or on our
listening
Well,
later,
she just messaged it. Messaged us.
we'll put it out there.
So, yeah,
Oh,
it's
did
not
she?
actually on
I
the
thought she put it on.
No, she just linked this.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
we'll put that out there for you viewers to see, and you can tell us what you think, and I'll make sure I go and draw a circle around so you can kind of see what we're talking about and things of that nature.
It's
So,
interesting.
yeah, it was something we thought was pretty interesting. So once again, that's Rose that may have been captured last night on her camera selfie, but we also have caught her voice talking to us. The very first couple times we were out there doing public events, she's talked to us. We were able to document where she was. I'll kind of start with Michelle and I. Our first rotation was in her room. Started off kind of slow a little bit. I mean, it's getting used to your surroundings and whatnot, but we put the laser grid on, turned it on, and Michelle, take over. Tell me what you saw.
It was like there was something walking in front of the grid. It just blink or,
It was pulsating, remember?
yeah, and
I
it
just-
was just, I mean, it
Yeah.
was distinct. It
It's
was,
never done that before. That. Go ahead.
Where'd you have the? Was it in the room?
No, in the hallway. Where
In the hallway,
It's still
okay,
there.
right
yeah.
there,
Yeah,
right
you
there.
saw
we
it.
were afraid to go out in the hallway because we were afraid we were gonna scare whatever was out
Right,
Until I
right.
ran out, remember, scared everybody.
Yeah.
Which was funny. I was telling Jason about it.
Yeah.
I didn't tell the group that, or I didn't want to say out to everybody, hey, if something was in the hallway, I didn't want to say, hey, I'm gonna go out in the hallway and see what's out there. So I'm sitting around the corner all the time.
there. Just jumped.
Start out of the room and look. Everybody's like, and I'm like, I started laughing because I'm like, I'm sorry, guys. I didn't want to announce what I was doing.
I guess I'm used to it because I didn't even think about it.
Right,
Yeah.
right. I started laughing and I'm like, I apologize.
But there were
really
noises
not
out
sorry.
there, and it's like somebody wasn't.
Yeah.
I mean, there's.
Well, then we also had one of the guests had a K2 meter, which I'm never really a big fan of that because they're easy to manipulate. Honestly, of course, any of our equipment we use
Yeah,
can be
was really
manipulated.
updated one that
So
you had.
explain manipulate.
You can take a radio, a walkie-talkie. You can take a phone. You can do lots of things where I can kind of secretly trigger that, and it'll give you false readings.
Okay.
Anything electric, that's what it's picking up. It's designed to pick up the electric magnetic field, or EMF, as everybody hears on TV. It's designed to pick up. Go ahead, sorry.
I was just gonna say it was brought up to concern when watching something like Ghost Hunters or something like that when they put the K2 off in the distance.
Mm-hmm.
I sat back, and all of a sudden the music comes and it's going off because they could have been just sitting there playing with the walkie and setting it off.
Well, the old style ones, the original K, I don't know if they're called K.
They're the K1.
K1.
Yeah.
The first generation.
You had to hold the
was
button. You had to hold
that
the
was
button
K2.
down. So what
Yeah.
they would do on shows, they would tape it, rig it so it would stay down constantly. Well, whoever designed the K2 one decided to go ahead and do a new modern version where it doesn't have to be held anymore. It's just you
But
just
it
hold.
still has the button, which is odd.
I didn't understand the bigger system design. Well, I don't know. Maybe you can trigger it that way too. But at the time, I had a guest hold it. I want to make sure that they didn't think I was doing something, to manipulate it. So I had a guest hold it. We started asking questions again. I said, if this is, so I asked if it was Rose, would you like this up? Without it missing a beat, the thing started dancing on us. I said, okay, you make that stop. Goes away. We've asked a series of questions in succession. Yes, no questions. Yes to blink, no to not blink. And she was answering pretty much all of our questions without a beat. It stopped for a minute, and I go, is Bart out there, the sheriff? Because his room's 2 doors down from there, 2 actual doors down from there. And she kind of blinked a little bit. I was like, are you scared of him? She's kind of blinking again. So I don't know if he made his presence known at that point to where my own personal beliefs, I always felt like she was scared of him the whole time, that they've been there in the actual building. I have no proof of that. I asked if she related to him. It was her dad. She said no. I said, is your mom with you? Yes. Is your dad with you? Yes. And that's when I asked after that, is Bart your dad? She goes, no.
So that was Rose. That you
So
were
Rose.
interesting.
So her dad and mom, according to that last night, is with her.
Right. Which the evidence I gave to the actual Midland Hotel from the previous events we did, we captured in there, they're going to post it to their actual Facebook page and also their actual website. At some point, I'm not sure if and when, but they will do that. We'll let you guys know on our own pages that you can start hearing it and seeing it. But one of the evidence I presented to them, you guys haven't heard the check, so I just got it ready before the event. We were asking questions in the room. You can hear a girl talking, like a little girl. I'm assuming obviously it's Rose. But before that, you hear somebody like either snap their fingers, clap, like hey, like a mother figure. You can hear somebody saying something to her, and it's not her. It's like another woman's voice. And then you hear the girl answer. So when I asked, that's why I asked that question last night, particularly with your mom there.
That's interesting
Yeah.
because they say that she had passed on due to the fire on the 3rd floor
Well, I asked
up
that
in the
question.
window ledge, right?
Well,
I asked
I mean, that's a speculation.
That's speculation, but
Yeah, but
I know in the beginning when we started, you would actually ask Tina, who is the manager there at the hotel,
Right.
and we asked her, did we have an idea of how many people had passed on due to the fire? She really did not know.
We were 20-ish, haven't we?
I heard
we-
22.
Yeah, well, I've heard 22,
Yeah.
but there's no.
There's no
Well, every
We'll
documentation
tell
of.
that story. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Jason.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But let me
go ahead.
finish mine real
No,
quick.
you don't.
No.
No.
You wait your turn.
You know, but that would make sense though if you're hearing something that sounds like that, because if they were up in 309 when that fire broke out, maybe mom and dad passed on as well with her in that room.
Yeah. I was just about that. We're going to tell you a story about the whole.
Oh, okay. So, the Midland Railroad Hotel burned 3 years after opening up, which was 1899 when it opened,
Right.
and then 3 years later it burned. The third floor and the second floor was completely wiped out. Second floor was damaged. First floor not so bad. They've tried to recreate most of the hotel to look somewhat original. The main entryway is still the original floor.
Original desks there.
Yes,
That's the main
the desk.
check-in desk now.
The carpet that you see when you walk
Yeah.
in is a replica of the identical original
But
carpet.
they do
original.
have some of it still there.
Yes, they
So
do.
you can see it. They showed us actually where it's at.
And
Sorry.
no, sorry. I was
I
trying
think
but anyway, we get all their the city's documentations, all their city records, files, and all that were being stored at the Opera House across the street, which again burned down. I mean, it's just like a thing.
it's an epidemic. Quite a bit of those buildings have been burned down. Which the outside of most of these buildings are all limestone, which is we think part of the reason. Well, we feel was part of the reason there's so much activity everywhere, because of the limestone is a good conductor. It holds energy in a lot of times. Limestone, marble, granite, stuff like that seems to hold energy. Excuse me. But why they keep burning on the inside, and maybe that's why the structure is still there, because limestone doesn't burn as easy as we saw evidence of in the Opera House. But it burns the inside structure, the skeleton part of it, it burns it down inside. It keeps the outside shell fairly structural sound. So there's not many records left over from Wilson because of that fact.
So therefore, we have no idea how many died and exactly how Bart. Who killed Bart or how it went down. We don't know anything about Rose and her parents, or why she's there, where she came from, did she come off the train, or was she lived in town? Who knows? We don't.
Okay, so with regards to that, and I'm just taking it for face value. I can't say it's 100% accurate or not, but same evidence I gave to the Midland. I asked. We were told that she was like to hide in the corner where there's a chair they put up for her. They've seen her in the windowsill. They put her in that corner chair area. We've asked. Earthquake! Sorry, moving cameras.
Oh, they're not seeing that.
Oh, darn. Everybody's running camera behind the scene, and I just want to know if you can see it on.
We're preparing for an earthquake.
Yeah. So anyway, sorry guys. So they see Rose in a certain part of room 309, in a corner. So I asked on one previous investigation, I think it was a previous public investigation, I asked, why do you always hide in the corner? What's so special about the corner? I said, are you trapped in there? Are you trapped because of the fire? And she told me, I'm not trapped. And it's evident by what they see her. They see her in the basement. They see her on
What did you hear that on?
Our recording.
The recording?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which, like I said, the Midland has all that. They'll put it up eventually. And
wasn't there a story with her underneath the table in the dining room?
Oh yeah, that was like one of the other stories with her. I totally forgot about that. Yeah, they've seen her pretty much everywhere. Like I said, up and down all 4 stories. Up and down, flying around. She interacts with one of the. There's a woman there who's a grandmother that actually works at the building, or used to. I don't know if she still does or not. But she's brought her grandson in, and they were down in the basement by the big walk-in freezer. Grandmother says she's inside. Her grandson likes to be. He has separation anxiety from her. Like he wants to be wherever she goes. So he was inside originally at the freezer with her. And she turned around and he was gone. She looked out and he's standing at the base of the freezer with a calm, happy smile, just like smiling and talking. And she's like, who are you talking to? And he's like, the girl. And she points in the direction where nothing's there. She sees, she's like, it freaked her out. She grabbed her and ran upstairs and didn't go back down there for, I don't know if ever, for that matter. So, but like I said, he was calm and didn't have a problem being away from her in that moment. So, and then he was just talking to a little girl. I feel like told us that he said Rose, but I don't know if that's just what they.
I didn't hear it.
Well, I think what he said is he goes talking to her
Yeah, that's what
is
Tina
what
told us.
Tina told us.
But up to that point, I
Yeah.
had heard that.
I had
he
heard
he
somebody had said Rose.
Yeah,
So,
but that could just be
yeah.
Something happened. So
But still, to see witness something like that, your grandchild, doing that, and there's nobody there.
I'd be shocked because I don't have a grandchild. So
I'd be very shocked if my grandchild said it's not around either. So that's gonna go in our evidence file then.
So
Unsolved.
what else happened to you
Show them
guys?
with black eyes.
Yeah.
In our first rotation, we actually went upstairs the soda shop where the apartments are,
Mhm.
and we actually sat inside the larger room, which is the Masonic room,
Right.
and we had actually moved the grid to where it was facing more outside in that hallway.
Oh, really?
Because in the past,
Yeah.
when I've been up there, he runs on you,
Right.
but he
does.
seems to pace in that main hallway.
He doesn't like us being in there.
And so I thought, why not hang out in here? Go ahead.
Explain to everybody who they're
Yeah.
Talking
Who's
about.
he?
Well,
Come on.
I'll go ahead and let you explain who
He.
you're talking about because I don't want to tell the story wrong. I think it was a past resident of
Right.
the place that had passed on there, if I'm correct.
at the soda shop. You have the main restaurant, but then upstairs was a former dentist office, apartments. I don't think it was anything else other
Just
than
Masonic.
that. And the Masonic Lodge.
Behind that fire door, right?
No,
No,
that
in the
first
main-
area is
Ah.
there.
So where the
they
grid
let
was
the
at.
women go. Behind that fire door is where the only men could go, and they had their
Ah.
secret parties back there.
Yeah.
Supposedly, that's the story we've been told. And I
Your
agree.
secret's out.
I think it's probably good because
Yeah.
Harry knows he was.
Yeah.
It's his building, so.
Oh.
We'll go ahead.
The guy that there's, I don't know if they've seen him, but they hear him. He's yelled, he's screamed at them to get out.
Yeah, he's told us before, not us,
yeah.
but our people on both investigations.
That makes a lot more sense.
And he, it was a gentleman that used to own an apartment up there. He was a recluse. He didn't want to be around people. They said he was just a kind of an oddball of a character up there. And now they still think he's still roaming around up there, and even possibly downstairs in the cellar.
Well, some of the stuff, not some of the stuff is still up there. If you look in there and we take you up there, on the counter is his medicine bottles, like when he was sick, dated from 1958.
Yeah,
I mean,
and they're
it's
still
not
there.
And it's
Some
still
of us
liquid
were
in
reading
there.
those.
It's,
These
yeah,
are definitely expired.
there's multiple. You try 'em?
I'm really a ghost now, guys. We'll
Yeah.
talk.
It's crazy to see multiple bottles dated in 58. And I was showing the girls yesterday, like, oh my god, they're reading the dates. They're like, wow, this is really old. I'm like, just a little bit. So yeah, but it has his name on there. It has a doctor or dentist on there, a doctor on there, I guess. The dentist was next door. Sorry, doctor, but he's still around. I've done research on the guy's still alive. The actual doctor, he just practices this line now. I think he's out of now. So
Just get a hold of him and see if he's ever had anything happen.
yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be interesting.
So keep going. Sorry, you were talking about your.
Oh,
He-
so
He
the
shall not be
gentleman
named.
that resides there, I guess he, we've seen him in the past up and down that hallway.
Right.
At least I have with some other groups when we've investigated up there. So we decided to take the light grid, and face it that direction.
Mm-hmm.
And we just sat in there for a good 12 minutes or so, and we actually started getting where you could see the lights move, and like he was
Okay.
peeking around
Yeah.
the door.
Right.
And then one time he had gone past the door and then walked past the other direction. So I mean, we didn't spend a lot of time. Like we said, these rotations are only an hour, and so we moved on to the next rotation. But as far as the people that came to the event, they thought it was awesome.
Yeah.
My first rotation was a dud downstairs. We took them down into the main area. The basement is more like a cave. We're down underneath the soda shop. It's upstairs and downstairs. I think has gotten worse over time with just falling apart, and we're in. Because even just from last year, from when we were there, the upstairs looked a lot better.
Yeah, I remember
The
seeing
staircase that wasn't even falling apart or above the ceiling and all
Yeah, I did notice that he's got a lot of new wiring going in,
Oh,
so I bet they're
goodness, yeah.
needing to fix the wire first before they start taking care of the
Well,
walls.
he wants to turn that back into apartments again and start renting them out. That's why he's doing all the wiring. But Jerry's doing it himself, and it's taking him.
For, yeah,
I mean, he
he's
runs
doing one
a very busy, one of the best restaurants in town. So they're just exhausted day and night.
Yeah.
So
That
They
building's
cool
still-
apartments up there.
What's
I
that?
like, the apartments up there are cool.
well, that's just it. Some of those
Yeah.
apartments, when I go describe it to people before we take them up there, I'm like, it's like you take a step back into yesteryear, where it's like
It
1960s,
definitely felt
and
like it was.
the furniture is old, and the
What?
old working fridge it
Yeah.
still works.
Yeah,
Sorry.
the shack
Did you-
carpet.
It looks like
But did you check in the bathroom of that one main apartment that
Yeah.
had the popcorn? Did you see the shampoo and
Yeah.
the scrunchie and all that?
the
I was like, somebody
Did
should
they
actually.
make crunchies back then?
No, somebody's been recently up there taking
Shower.
showers and that, and I'm
Well,
yeah, there's a shower,
Probably
like
Jerry.
a brand new shower.
Yeah,
curtain.
shower
Or
curtain
it's probably Jerry.
Well,
It's
you know,
a hot mess up there.
also too, it could be I think the local high school dance team uses the
Yeah, they do.
Masonic part, not the home, the Masonic part for their routines. Maybe they take a shower if they're possible. I don't know. We're speculating.
well, it possibly because I knew that's last year. That's how they had it, and the year
Mhm.
before they had it. But this time when we were in there, it didn't look like they had been in there for quite a while.
That's what I thought too.
They had all the mirrors off and everything.
That building is definitely special.
Yeah.
It's
A lot of
definitely
history.
In the basement, first round, nothing. We
last round.
the flashlight did come on. Paula put the flashlight in the hallway going into the back part, and then we moved into where where all the clothes are usually hanging up,
Mhm.
where we have the grid light up, and before we went in there, there's one of the ladies that was in the group. She was having a hard time breathing. She said it felt like an elephant sitting on her. So I was
Where
like,
was
downstairs in the basement.
Where the elephants are.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so I took her upstairs. So when I took her upstairs, everyone thought they heard footsteps off in the distance down far away from where we were. And I know Paula's already put the flashlight there. Well, when I came back down, they were already moved into where the clothes were. I saw the flashlight on. I didn't think anything of it. I thought she just put it down so they could see. So I walked in there. Good 10, 15 minutes goes by, and Paula's like, just, if you're out there, just turn that flashlight on and everything. I'm like, turn it on. I was like, oh, crap, it's already on. It's been on for 10, 15 minutes. I'm sorry. You did not do that? And she's like, no. I was like, oh, crap. Sorry.
You ruined it.
I was like, so it came on at some point, but, it wasn't from,
The question.
who knows
Yeah, who
how,
knows?
what it
Yeah.
did that. But other than that, that was it. Possible shadow down there in the corner, but it was too hard to see.
We got a lot of shadows down there at the last rotation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And
picking up a lot.
it was really weird just for the simple fact that it felt like we weren't welcome there at all. The upstairs, it kind of just felt like he was moody and just kind of, I don't want to
That's
be
usually how he's
But-
been.
downstairs. It was like, I don't want you here, and I'm gonna let you know that I don't want you here. I had gone upstairs because I couldn't breathe down there. There's a lot of shadows that I saw, but I just couldn't breathe. All the allergies and all.
It's a musty and moldy
Yeah.
area down there.
So I went upstairs, and I had another guest had followed me, who's very familiar with that shop. Yeah, it's our uncle's. So we were walking into the kitchen, and all of a sudden we hear this blood-curdling scream in our faces, and I'm like, "What the hell is that?" And I take off running, and I'm at the top of the stairs, and I holler down to them. It was Leo, and I was like, "Is everyone okay? Can you guys hear me?" And I didn't hear anything. And I'm like, "Okay, well then, if they can't hear me, it couldn't have been them screaming." So I walked back to the kitchen to see if maybe I tripped some alarm or something, and shortly after that, Leo came up and was like, "Yeah, she was screaming so loud," and I'm like, "Okay, she broke the sound barrier then." We heard her upstairs.
Yeah. What had happened was, it's pitch black down there. You can't even see in front of your face, your hand. But we could see there's a grid giving off some light in that back corner. next door. There's a couple rooms down there. So we asked a couple questions, and I said, "Are you okay with us being down here?" And plain as day, a couple of their guests heard it. Nope.
Mhm.
Someone just said it to us. Nope. Were you there at the time that happened?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like, nope.
Right before, and after that, you went upstairs shortly after that with the guests, and that we heard the scream. But what had happened was I was asking questions like normal, and asking the questions like I always do, and I asked.
They still can't see that, by the way.
Since you're not you don't want us here, and all that stuff. I said, give us a definite sign at least that we know that you're here and you want us out of here. A little bit of ping or something, I was like, oh come on, you gotta do something way better than that. And all of a sudden, the loudest noise, air, whatever it was, just kind of went whoosh in our face, and that's when the girl screamed because she could feel it, and it was like. I had my back turned at the time, so I whip around, and then at the same time as I whip around trying to find my light on my camera, Erin's trying to get her. She's startled, because the girl just starts screaming, and
It was loud.
the girl next to her started screaming as a result, and then the girls in the next room started screaming because they just, what's going on? What? Kind of.
A whole bunch of girls.
But it was.
And of course,
we
I missed
got what we wanted. We got what we wanted. I said, you got to do something better than that. It has to be something more depth, and that's without missing a beat. Whatever is down there was like, letting us know that hey, I'm here to get the hell out of here. So I respected the wishes. I'm a man of my word when it comes to this stuff. So we left the area, which not surprising. One of our first adventures down there, we had a rock thrown at us down there. It was caught on camera. Unfortunately, it's pitch black, so you can't see it getting thrown. You can just hear it. And the cameraman who caught it for us was kind of a skeptic. He was like, "F this, I'm done. I'm out of here." It scared him enough that he went out of the building, basically. So,
Didn't you see a face down there last night?
I can't remember honestly.
I can remember I saw like that first doorway, and you can see
Oh,
partially into
yeah,
the
you're
second
right.
doorway.
Yes.
I saw a shadow
Yes.
like kind of peeking out
Yeah, I
right after that.
turned around because Erin was standing in that door where the rock was thrown with her back into kind of that area, not knowing that's where the rock was coming from originally. When it happened a long time ago. So I happened to look nonchalantly. I looked
There
right.
he is.
There's Jeremiah, the guy that broke everything.
I'm getting it fixed one by
He's
one.
fixing everything. Sorry. But anyways, I turned right and happened to look past Erin, and I see a head above her, a male head just standing right, looking over her. And once again, I was the only male aside from Max at that point in the basement. And I go, holy shit! I take off running past her. Didn't tell her why I was running past her.
Sorry, there's something behind you. I don't want to scare you, but
I'm like, sorry, I saw a face behind you as I ran past her. She's like, huh? What?
Wow.
Couldn't figure out anything. There's only a couple of ways they could have gone. Left into that little corner unfinished area where nothing's there, or down by the coast and the racks of clothes down there.
that's a weird one.
Yeah, I didn't hear that. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
I didn't just tell you that.
That's awesome.
The main thing we talked about was the blowing of the air. So something down there does not want us down there. It makes it known that it doesn't like us being down there. I think it's one of the workers of the coal chutes down there. There's still actual chutes of coal. You can see them where they used to scoop it. There used to be tunnels underneath the building to go underneath the street to the other buildings across the street.
Right.
But
And,
they're all filled in now.
and the soda shop isn't even the original structure there. It used to be
Yeah,
I
good
think
question.
it was a hotel that was actually on their original spot.
Really?
It
The
was-
hotel there.
Oh,
Yeah.
the soda shop is
Yeah, where
you're
where
right.
that
It
building
was.
is,
That's newer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
I think in the 70s they built that.
yeah, so I mean,
We have a sorry, Dave, we have a question in studio.
Was the whooshing, was that in the soda shop or was that in the?
You're right, good question. It's in the soda shop basement where the coal chutes are, the unfinished part.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and it's like I said, in one of the Adventures Babes, the person in charge of their group was with me at the time, and she is like, her daughter's the one that screamed.
So loud.
Oh, so that was Terry?
Yeah, Terry
that
was.
was
That's
Bethany.
unlike
That was
Bethany
Bethany.
screamed.
It was Bethany that screamed.
Terry,
That's unlike Bethany to do something.
Terry
like that.
was the one that was making fun of it after that. She's like,
Yeah, when we were outside.
she couldn't. She said you basically
Yeah,
asked
many
for it to
times.
do something, it wasn't good enough, and
It was like rad.
sure enough, it responded. It responded to you by asking it to do something stronger, and without missing a beat, it was that quick. So it was fun. I had a good time.
That's a pretty good
There's some,
response.
yeah. And I did have a camera running at the time in my hand, GoPro. I also had my audio recorder. I haven't had a chance to sift through it today yet. I plan on doing that here. Hopefully, the day is coming up.
Oh crap, yeah, because we just got home a few hours ago.
Yeah,
Right.
We haven't slept in, like I said, over 30 hours, probably more than that for sure. But so we'll go through that and we'll get the evidence put out there once we have the chance to go through it. What else do you guys have? I know I still have more stuff going on. So go ahead, I'll tell you.
Michelle, how did your second rotation go?
That's when we went to
I
the
just
actual
went blank.
cemetery. We went to the
You
cemetery.
guys went to the cemetery.
So it was
That
kind
catch off guard?
of quiet.
Yeah, he did. I was
She's
sitting
like,
there.
who's Michelle?
I was
Oh,
down in
that's
my
me.
own little world.
I know.
So I'm trying to catch my sleep that I missed last night. Go ahead, Michelle. Tell them what you had.
The cemetery?
Yeah, anything.
Anything you
Well,
wanna
how
talk about,
do you anything good? I want to hear what's good because I didn't hear crap.
Good check.
Well, the cemetery, we saw the shadows, the white tint, and heard the voices. And then where the grid pulsated up on the third floor, that was, I have never seen it do
That was incredible, yeah.
that. I mean, it was just,
Isn't that awesome?
I mean, it was just,
Yeah.
It either does it or doesn't.
Yeah.
You know.
yeah,
As you can see on screen, that's the beautiful Midland Railroad Hotel. It's a
really
gorgeous
pretty.
building.
Now that I can finally show you what we're talking about tonight.
I think they're working, yeah.
I think we had another
Hour
question
into it.
from our guest here in the
We do have
studio.
a question, yeah.
Go ahead, Jim.
Did you guys have a laser grid set up at each of your locations that you rotated?
Except for the
Except for
cemetery.
Cemetery, there's no electricity out there for us to do without running a generator, which we don't want to wake the whole town up with.
It'd be nice if those things were battery powered or something like
I've
that.
been
Talk
trying to
about
like
that.
create. So I've actually bought the 12-volt converters,
Oh,
but I
okay.
want to actually build a 360 one
So-
and have it a battery.
Oh,
Well, that's right.
So how many spots did you guys actually?
With laser grids,
Yeah, just in general.
We had one on
you
every
rotated,
level,
but how many spots?
except for number one. We had
We didn't have one in the
Four
basement,
spots?
did we?
Oh no.
No, we didn't have
Yeah.
one in the basement.
We went
Second
three.
floor,
Soda
third
shop.
floor,
four.
soda shop,
Four.
2 spots. So we had 4.
We had 2 in
four
this
grids
location.
Oh, okay.
We had the capability to run more than that. We just ran 2 for some reason.
Yeah, because Rogue likes to buy 20 of them at a time.
Right.
Well, and you know, those can be overwhelming to people,
Yeah.
you know,
Some,
that are
some
not
things
used
like
to being around them.
Right.
Because they looked right
Yeah.
into them after we told them not to.
yeah, they can
Yeah.
be disoriented.
that.
Yeah,
I was
sensory overload.
Make you
I was having that
nauseous.
problem
Yeah.
last night. I forget what location I was doing. It was to where I was standing. The grid was hitting me right, so I had to keep turning my head
Yeah.
because those lights just kept pinging me right in
It wasn't as great as me hitting his face. Sorry.
Yeah,
He quit.
Leo comes around the corner and freaks me out with
Well, I'll get to that story in a minute.
the light right in my face.
Yeah.
Did you hear that? No.
What?
I'll get to that story.
You know, before we even started any investigating last night, we did have 3 people actually see the same thing at the same time in the parlor.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was you. So what's that
Yeah.
story?
I was sitting with our special guest, Lena, and another guest of ours that was with us last night.
We're going to talk about who's later, first of all.
Yeah, Lena.
You
Lena
guys
is
have to
a
explain that.
Lena is a friend of ours who also works along with Kathy and Ghost Tours of Kansas. Lena is a well-known medium. We're losing her already.
No.
Okay.
I just got belly
Psych!
Lena is a well-known medium to the area, and she was there that night to do tarot card readings for people. Also she did a room reading with everybody. We're having all kinds of stuff going on. It's,
I was just refreshing my phone so I could see what the episode actually looks like.
But so anyway, that's who Lena is. She's a well-known medium who was there to do a group reading for all the guests there that night, and she hit on some several cool things.
What is
Again,
that?
for some people, it is
Where did that come from?
it is hit or miss with some people whether or not they believe in all that. So it was, you know,
Yeah.
some people are getting aggravated. You know, it is what it is. But with what we know of Lena, she is wonderful. She's very accurate with everything she does. And we were happy to have her that last night.
One thing that really solidified for me last night, a couple things. she hit on one of our deceased team members. I don't know if you heard about this, Jeremiah, or not.
I did not.
She said we were outside actually. We weren't even in the building, and well, I think Cody and somebody else, maybe you were in the building at the time, or somebody was.
It was
And
Cody
Paula,
and Max.
I think Paul was there too. So Jason and I are talking to the owner outside and setting up some business. I think Rose might have been out there too. Talking to the owner, they come running out and say, Lena just hit on Larry. We're like, who? What? We're like, well, tell us more about it. Larry was a teammate of ours, is a teammate of ours who a year ago in May passed away after a lengthy battle of cancer, leukemia. So I've always felt like he's been with us throughout everything, you know, we keep him in our hearts, you know, close to our hearts and everything like that. So, but she said, Lena said to the group, I'm seeing a man who is involved with the team.
Yeah, an investigator.
And I get the letter L. I'm like, my name's Leo, but I was outside, so it couldn't have been me. And she's like, he's passed away, obviously, and I'm still maybe here.
It's
but so people in our Michelle and not Michelle, Paul and them that saw it right away was, is that you, Larry? Hi, Larry.
What's up, Larry?
Paula knew right away in her mind Larry's what she was describing, so possibly. So, but she kept on going, and she said, he said it went very quick. Like, tell him to know it went very quick. Well, when he passed, he went in a coma, and he passed pretty quickly because it was
What was happening?
Yeah.
To him, it was,
internally. She also said that he's going to guide us tonight. Because he also, first time we went there with Rose, Jason, myself, and Larry was the only people that went there just to go check out the place. And he loved the place tremendously. I mean, he loved everything we did. He just liked being a part of what we did. He was one of the best teammates we had because of just his heart was bigger than all of ours put together. And we miss him dearly, but he said that he would be watching over us last night, and that he was looking for a line, and this and that, you know, and power.
What
loyalty.
she said was he was showing her the Leo sign,
Okay.
and she contributed it to it being a line and
Yeah.
protection.
Well, there's more to that story. I mean, it continues. So, in my mind, I'm thinking. I told Paul and Michelle, I'm like, well, I'm spitballing here, guys, but I mean, I'm Leo. Leo the Lion. I'm not saying it's me,
It's your
but I mean, people think that, you know, Leo the Lion kind of goes hand in hand. Well, I didn't say anything to Lena. I didn't talk to her about any of that, and I'm like, that's great. I hope it is Larry. You know, that warms my heart. You know, well, that was about 7 o'clock when she told the group that. Later on, she found us about 2 in the morning. We were sitting there in the front room talking to us. She goes, "Hey, there you are," and all this stuff. And she's like, "That's great that Larry was looking." She said the name Larry. She goes, "That's great that Larry's with you guys and all this stuff." He goes, "He's the one who's looking for you." He said, "Leo, he has a beard looks like a lion." And I told Paula and Jason that, and here she's saying all this shit. I'm like, wow, maybe it was Larry. I mean, why couldn't it be? So, and I thought it was pretty damn cool. I mean, if he's with us at all times, I've always suspected he would be, because he was with us all the time. He is as much as he could. So why not be with us in the next life? You know, guiding us, protecting us, and stuff. So, but he kept calling me. Yeah, he's trying to describe me to Lena. He looks like Hank. What'd you say, Merle Haggard, with a beard,
Yeah,
you know.
Hank
Which I have the big. Oh, Hank Williams. That's what
That's
it is.
Hank Williams.
Yeah, I go. I don't listen to country. I don't wear a cowboy hat. Jason's like, well, if you put sunglasses on, I'm like,
You did, you with the
I
beard
got the
and
big
all
bushy
that.
beard, you know.
You
So
do it, yeah.
why not? But Larry, thank you last night for being with us. We appreciate that. I mean,
Thanks, Larry.
it was a successful adventure because of you, and thank you very much, man. But
Keep
what else?
coming.
Yeah, what else?
Go back to what was happening.
Yeah, keep going. Sorry, I totally got off on the tangent. I know. That just made me think about that. So go ahead. Please.
Well, Lena, she was sitting next to me and another guest.
Yeah, that's what
Tiffany was sitting there too.
my bad.
And I went to go look over at Tiffany, and she was sitting in front of a window that led to the outside. And these windows are pretty. Not only are they like huge and tall off the ground, but right outside that window was the stairs that went down to the bar. So, and I saw someone standing in the window, like full-fledged standing in the window. Yeah. In a gray suit. And it was a man just kind of sitting there looking at us. And I looked over at Tiffany and like saw it, and I went to go look away, and I was like, wait a second, that's
Right.
there. And Tiffany, without even turning around to see it, she goes, yeah, he's a nice guy. And I was like, what? And Lena goes, yeah, you saw that guy? And I looked over at her, and I was like, in the gray suit? And she goes, yeah, he's just kind of checking us out. And I was like, it's 5 o'clock. All right, cool. 5 o'clock in the afternoon. But that was pretty, I mean, before the investigation even started.
And at the time, there was not very many men. Like I said, it was us four right here. We weren't wearing gray suits. I mean, I don't wear suits anyways.
Right.
If you're to see me, I'm always in black. It's just
I'm always in a red shirt.
Yeah. Anyways, and the wait staff, there was about 3 or 4 men there, and they all had black,
All
attire.
black, right?
One of them had a blue shirt on.
Okay.
Yeah, 1 or 2 of them had blue shirts on, but nothing gray, no ties. And what you saw, like you said, was high off the ground. So if you saw
Yeah, it was, I mean, from
he's the tallest man I've ever
mid-shin.
seen. He's at least
Yeah,
10
you
feet
said
tall.
mid-shin to on that.
Yeah, and he would have to literally be either standing on the bikes that were parked out there or
Right.
standing on the actual rail that went around the stairs that goes down to the bar.
Right.
And he looked like an older man, so I don't really think that he would be. Let me go ahead and stand up here and maybe fall down.
Right.
And he was gone in a blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Like literally, it was.
That's why you shouldn't
Just-
blink. You'll still be there.
I know. Damn blinking and eye lubrication and junk.
But, sorry guys, I know I do that every now and then. Get you guys off on,
And that's Lena.
Yeah. on the screen is
Yeah.
Lena, she'll be at future events with us also too. So if you missed last night's, she's
very
coming.
interesting.
She's coming back with us on October 14th at the Eldridge Hotel in Lawrence, Kansas.
Nice.
So she'll be doing live readings that night there too.
I've said it. I don't know how many times. I've been working with Lena for a long time,
Yeah.
and she is, in my opinion, probably the most gifted psychic, seer, medium, whatever you want to call it, that I have ever worked with in any way, form, or fashion.
She's also a sweetheart.
Yes, she is.
So
Very nice lady.
And her mom.
Yeah, I was gonna say she had her
Yeah,
mom
mom
with her.
was-
Yes.
She actually came up to me this morning. Her mom did, and was like, "It was
Eudora?
so great seeing you guys and meeting you." And
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
somewhere in that
Every
area.
time.
Very personal.
Every time.
she couldn't get enough of Cody. She loves Cody.
Everybody loves Cody.
Not everybody. I'm just kidding. He's not here, so I make fun of him, of course. That's what I do. I make fun of everybody.
He wasn't getting out of bed this morning, so I don't think his dad was too happy with him.
I was like, "Cody, get up!" And he picks his head
Get
up
up!
and then just lays right back down. I'm like, "Whatever."
That's why I didn't go to sleep, because I'd probably be the same way. But we'd still be there sleeping.
Well, 10 minutes later, Erin goes to wake him up, and she goes, "Cody."
He's like, yep,
He's like, "Yeah, what's up? What's going on?" I'm like, I said,
Yeah.
It's that mama's voice.
oh, gosh.
No, that's not what it is, Roth, and you know it.
So what else you want to talk about last night? What else anybody had any
I
experiences?
want to bring something up, and
Uh-oh.
I think this would be a really good point. Okay, and Michelle brought it up to me just a few minutes ago. So when I was in the room, 309, and Jeremiah, you need to jump in on this. When I was in 309, and I was, or not 309, 305, excuse me, everybody, we were talking to Bart, asking about his innocence, what's your story, why are, and we kept getting the innocent. Okay? Now,
Okay.
Innocent through what?
What were you using?
we
Was
were
it
using
an app
we
or-
were using an app
It was
Uh,
the Wonder Box portal.
that is
Yeah,
the
the
right.
portal?
"That's
So-
amazing."
My question is, can you believe it? What is the? Is it a good app?
Is it accurate?
Because-
legit?
Michelle told me a little bit ago that when she was in the basement, she had that on, and it said the same thing, innocent, when she was downstairs. So I guess my question is
Is it repeating?
it
Okay,
repeating
so-
itself?
across all devices. Like, was it at the same time? You
No,
guys?
it's the app.
You have to sit there and monitor it that closely to see if it's repeating at time frames. And
It sounded like it.
I've heard
I'm
stuff
not,
repeated.
I'm not a believer in it.
Yeah.
I know.
So my take on that is, you know, there have been a lot of, you know, wonder devices in the past. The Ovilus is a prime example of it. I hate that machine with a passion because it is pre-programmed crap with a vocabulary. And the top 2 words that it picks up on are always devil and demon.
Yeah.
Or evil, if
Yeah.
you want to throw a third one in there.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but, and there's been several apps that I've actually had friends actually pick apart the code and look at the code to find out, you know, if it was anything like that. And a lot of them do. They have pre-programmed vocabularies. Now, the portal, I like the way it works, but I haven't had anyone pick it apart or anything like that at this point. You know, it's we've gotten some interesting results with it, had some interesting experiences with it, like at the Patty House.
Right.
Well,
And
Brendan,
that one,
Brendan had one upstairs in 305 with it as well. So, you know,
Hands up. Me.
It's a whole upper hand.
Right.
I actually wanted to expand on that because I just talked to somebody about that. I think it was last night or it might have been at Ness. How many of these apps are actually real?
Right.
And the way I look at it is, yeah, you have these ones that are strictly, there's a woman named Rebecca in your house and she's there to kill you because she's a demon. They're programmed
right,
to say that stuff.
right.
That's not my name. They call me Stacey.
He's not a psychic, guys. He's a psycho. There's a
I've
difference.
talked about this before. Yes, this is true.
But
That's not true.
any electrical device can still be manipulated, whether it is pre-programmed or not.
Right,
So how much of that is actually coming through that is truthful, we don't know.
Okay.
right.
But I think if it hits on what we're around about, I think that it's
all
leaning
crap.
toward you're all crap. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Well,
Okay,
couple
we're
things.
tired.
Couple things. With the portal, the Wonderbox portal, now the actual Wonderbox, Steve Huffer and Owen designed that.
that's a good
Designers.
one. You get.
Those ones I believe in. They do work. They're modified ghost box, but they're
Mm-hmm.
just twisted with, you know, Tesla coil and other crap, whatever between there. Not Tesla coils, but anyways.
You said
They-
testing?
Tesla coils.
Okay.
Now they do their own thing and stuff. You can do testies. That you and Rose can hang out together.
Why me?
No,
You really asked that question.
Why
you have to ask. You obviously know the answer. No, but some of that stuff does work. It's like our ghost box SB7s, SB11s we use, things of that nature. So some of those, you know, do work.
Yeah.
We've had our names called personally. They can be pre-programmed.
Right, right.
Last
So they
weekend
called
we
you Stacy?
last week we had an unusual name called through at Weston, which is part of my group that got attacked, and it kept saying Weston over Weston.
Oh, wow.
And then Summer, which was a girl, and they both got attacked.
Which was his actual girlfriend. Like they were there together, right?
Yeah.
I don't know if they were boyfriend or girl. Yeah.
Well, I mean,
They're
they were
together.
standard.
Yeah.
Because you were using the actual voice box.
But
Right.
I use both. I use the app, the Sono 10.
So
I use
when you use the app,
at different times.
did you get
That's when they got their name, the app on the
Really?
phone.
That's nuts.
Yeah, so
That's
that's
actual
kinda-
names.
yeah.
The two standing right there with each other.
But the obelisk, I want to go back to Jeremiah.
Uh-huh.
I don't know who those people are, but cool.
Right.
Uh,
Well, I was trying to find a picture of Larry.
I was gonna say everyone
My
else named
Facebook
Larry.
app wasn't loading, so
think about back to here we go, Oklahoma,
Dun, dun, dun.
Tahlequah. When you first went down there with Brandon Callahan,
uh-huh.
he used the obelisk, remember? And
Yes.
he had the word stigmata come through.
Yes.
And what were your thoughts on that?
it's Mr. Obvious?
I know it's
Okay,
programmed.
so-
I agree with the pre-programmed.
I'm-
yes.
right.
In that instance, how do you feel about that?
So, Brandon, if you are listening to this, or if you listen to this at some point in the future, I'm sorry, but I still think the obelisk is crap. I know electronic devices can still be manipulated, so
As a K2 we talked about earlier.
exactly.
So
But the fact that it's pre-programmed with that, you know, a very, and it's a pointed vocabulary.
Right,
It's
it's
not.
the
It's not. So,
Wasn't Mr. Speaking
to me,
spell?
you have anything that comes across one of those devices has to be thrown out because of that very fact.
Yeah.
But some of the stuff surrounding that incident where the word stigmata did come across, okay, that was interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, I can't bring
I'm with you.
I
Playing
can't
devil's
bring
advocate,
that experience into play over it because of
Right.
the involvement with Ovilus.
Right.
So
You go back on that. The reason I watched that video recently again where it does that.
Mhm.
If you listen to the video before that, it goes Brandon, and then it goes stigmata.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a voice that says Brandon. It's
Yes.
not you. I know your voice.
yeah,
I know
no.
only you
Now
hear
that was I do remember that very clearly because Brandon actually turned around and said, "Dude, did you just say my
No,
name?"
that's a different one. That's when you're sitting on.
Oh
in the
yeah. Okay,
Dude,
I'm
I was
thinking.
out.
I've got my devices confused.
You're fine.
I'm still thinking about the
You're
incident
fine.
with the Ovilus, but there was the other incident where he heard his name. He was using the ITC delay
The
record
EDP,
device.
live EDP,
Or
Yeah.
GDP.
So yeah.
So,
Yeah, that was cool. That was definitely
But,
interesting.
Like I
But
said, I was just playing it back to the word stigmata, how you felt about that situation. Since you were there to witness it live, and
You know-
watching the video, that's all I've seen.
there's so much diverse history there.
Right.
You can't really count something like that out.
But
You-
stigmata doesn't really play a part of the story if you're in the
No, it really doesn't.
Frontiers.
And there's not. Yeah, it
Necessarily.
really just doesn't.
Yeah. So I was just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
Going back to the Wonder Box, I mean, it's possible they work. The apps sometimes work. But when we have actual names called through them, it's like, how can I refute that if I'm arrested? We had the Candle Club. I won't go into details too much about it, but it says some names in there that were attached to the Candle Club that the owners told us not to mention. Names
I
specific,
remember
but
that.
they called names out that gave meaning to them also too.
Mhm.
Right.
The same app on my phone. It's not it's probably pre-programmed, yes at times, but it's also that one goes to the radio sweeps. So
Which one?
So-
The portal?
no,
What's it called then? The one that goes through the.
it's
There's so
it's
many
a spirit box of sorts. It's called Sono.
So,
Is it through iPhone or is it through?
You can get it through Android. I saw Terry last night. We were talking about it.
she has the ghost hunter tool.
See, I
too.
don't think that one works. The one that she uses.
Not the Wonder Box. We're talking about
The one where it brings. And Terry, if you're reading this, I'm
or watching.
hopefully you're not gonna start yelling at me right now. But you
Don't
know,
call me.
it's the one where the words come up.
That's the ghost hunter tool. That's what
I
it's
thought it was
Yeah.
supposed to say
No,
German and
no,
then
I'm
it
talking
would say.
about-
No, that we're talking. That's a different one. That's
Talking
the
about the
portal.
spirit box.
portal.
Mm.
The spirit
Now,
box
see,
he
he
doesn't
used the
have.
portal over
Yes.
there at Nest City, and he got the girl and the guy's name off.
No, I didn't use the
Or was
portal.
it the portal.
I think it's a portal.
I thought you just said you used.
No, I use the Ghost Box.
Yeah, he was using that.
I don't have the
actual
portal.
spirit
I can't
box.
have the portal on my phone because it's only made for Androids. I have an iPhone.
Okay. Okay.
You can't have it
okay.
either, so that's why.
Yeah,
but-
I can't have it.
Yeah, you can't have it. But anyways,
Can't
so there's a Spirit
Sounds
Box
like a
app on the
zipper.
phone that was working, calling it Weston's name, and Summer's name, and different things.
Okay.
And then also the same one I use at the Candle Club.
Okay.
So that's a little different. That's a Ghost Box. So
And so you think that one's? You just don't know. It's so hard to
is
tell.
anything we use 100% accurate? Not
That's the one
necessarily.
you guys
I
are
mean,
using it.
but we've had some success with Ghost Boxes. Yeah, that's
was,
the portal.
Was this what he was using at Patty House?
Yeah.
Where it
So
started
the
texting
thing
from
about
his
the
phone.
Patty House was he had his phone laid, and you can watch on our Everyday Legacy Paranormal Facebook page. We were live at the time when it happened. We're asking questions. I posed a question: are you a demon? And this is Jeremiah's phone stationary on a case of ours, and the thing turns sideways and starts typing. He goes, maybe, maybe not. And
Yeah.
Jeremiah's like, what the hell? You can hear him losing his mind. Like that's Google.
Yeah,
Google or
the
whatever.
Google Voice feature.
Right, and it manipulated it once, and then it did it again later on. A few minutes later, it turned it again and manipulated it. So that was give a little bit more to it, credibility. But it didn't come through the actual portal. It came through while we were using the portal at the time. So I mean, but I've heard some stuff come through the portal that made me question it. Like maybe
Yeah.
maybe it is legit. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I would really. I've kind of lost touch with my friends who
We're still friends.
were what Really? I'm gonna throw something at you.
Here, go ahead.
So I've the friends I had that were like hackers and shit, that I kind of lost touch with them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'd like to reach out to them and see if I can get them to pick that code apart and
That's
see,
cool.
see what they can tell me about it. If
Right.
there's like a program, vocabulary, the stuff that comes across it though is so random. Like names, really, and specific names.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. Some of that stuff
Now
very deep.
the one thing is that as the phones get smarter, the apps get smarter too. So
Probably.
maybe it's listening to people talk,
Probably.
picking up on
It's the government. I'm kidding.
Yeah,
I'm
the
not that
Big
kind of
Brother.
person. I don't give a
Big
shit
Brother.
about conspiracy crap. I love it. I like talking about it, but I don't care about that stuff. Back to last night's event. Anybody else have anything that I can interrupt when you're talking about it, Max? I'm just kidding. Anybody else have any experiences that they want to discuss?
That bowling ball. That really wasn't a bowling
Oh yeah,
ball.
I've got that up for you. That was a fun one.
We'll just like every time we say, "Oh, I haven't gotten to that part yet."
Well, because I don't want to just jump in. I'm trying to give you-
Hey Max, is there anything you'd like to talk about?
Anything else?
What about the boy? Oh,
Well, you
I'll
tell.
get to
Okay,
that.
here's the deal. Tell
This
your.
is only a show.
Tell your. That's my
we'll
first
just
point.
let you guys.
Tell your
we'll just
version of it.
uh-huh.
And I'll give it mine.
And just remember, no, you can't name names of the guests or anything like that.
Bullshit, I'm doing it.
So you're telling me that Amy and Amelia, I can't talk
That's
about.
not
I'm just
her
kidding, man. I don't really know if there's anyone named that.
Yeah, go ahead,
I'm
go ahead,
sure
go
we're
ahead.
gonna get stabbed by Jason.
Probably. So
That's
I
that
actually had great.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. Tell your story.
I had Cody and Aaron sitting with me. Nina was downstairs doing readings or whatnot, and we heard what literally sounded like someone falling down the steps that was right next
Where's
to
Paul
us.
at that
Yeah,
night?
where was? Yeah, well, she
Paul
was
was
with
with
me.
him.
Yeah, she
She
was accountable.
She has
They
a
were
bad
doing
joke.
that
She's not here to defend herself, so
from what Jason said.
And it wasn't Michelle's cane either.
yeah, that's a good point.
So,
That's a good point. But it was Jason at one point.
Yeah,
Flat out.
I missed.
But it wasn't this time. Go ahead. Finish your story.
So so we heard what sounded like somebody or like a bowling ball falling down the stairs. It was like boom, 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 boom. Sounded really heavy. So we all kind of snapped and was like, "Oh my god, what was that?" And Lena looks over. She was really cool the whole weekend, like the whole time, the whole day. She was like, "Yeah, it's happened. It's the second time." And I'm like, "You're so calm about this. Like, why didn't you tell any of us?" So Cody and I ran upstairs and we're trying to test it out, debunk it. I stomped a couple times to see if it was even close to the same sound. We heard something running behind us. We had people come out of their rooms asking if we were running up and down the hallways, which we weren't. We heard our door handle jiggling when we were passing it, which I tried to walk by it again to see if it was like
Right.
but that didn't happen again.
And all the while you guys were doing this, Paula and I were up on the third floor. We didn't hear anything. Our group was in 309, door closed, silent. We weren't talking hardly at all.
Maybe we're in a different dimension. You
I
know?
don't know.
Well, that brings me to
It's just odd. We couldn't hear anything.
But the next part of that, we went up to the third floor, and the only thing we heard on the third floor was Leo talking.
Yeah.
We heard him inside room 305.
Right.
He was almost like going down to the first floor by then. So he wasn't even close to the third floor.
Dun, dun, dun. Cue music.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so my caveat to this is
Ooh, that's a big word.
Ding ding. Word of the
Hold on.
day.
Hey, Leo, we'll get to that in a minute.
okay. The word caveat or my story?
Your story.
Asshole.
Did you guys hear that?
I didn't hear anything. Anywho,
I think
So-
someone just called you an asshole.
Thanks.
I'll tell his face. He knows it. No, anyways,
It's all good.
here's the deal with that. Because at the time, I think it was Cody or somebody came through the walkie and said, they think Rose is running down the hallway. Which sounds too heavy to be
I don't
Rose.
think it was Cody.
It was somebody said. I don't remember who. I was in shock at all the stuff going on because it shook the building. Okay, Jason was in 309. I was in 305 with 3 people in there. We hear it. It sounds like right below us. We're like, what
Wait.
the hell was
You
that?
heard it in 305.
2 doors
You
down.
didn't hear it in
2 doors
309?
down.
Right.
No,
Because
I'll get to that part in a minute.
Our
Good
guests,
Lord.
because we had 5 or 6 guests with
Right.
us, and Paula and myself were in 309. But we were silent. We were trying to get something going on with Rose, and we were getting nothing. And so, I mean, it was silent. We were trying to hear whatever we could. I could just faintly hear you talking. And that was it. I mean,
couldn't hear
and
that
it was
at all.
every once in a while, because we weren't talking very much.
Okay.
Paula wasn't feeling well. She
Yeah.
had her sinuses were all acting up. So
That's why I should not hear it.
she wasn't up for doing much, but she was still trying to ask questions and stuff. But she was very quiet about it, and so was the rest of my group. They weren't very talkative.
Right.
But I could hear you talking, but that was it.
Okay. So what we were doing in there, we were in the sheriff's office, Bart's, and he was not happy for us being there because we were kind of calling him out directly through the actual ghost box again. He told me F off twice. He didn't like that I was challenging him. I'm like, I actually went in there with a little bit chip on my shoulder. What time is it? Went in there with I was like, I didn't even usually I go into a place and I say, hey, my name is Leo. You've seen me before. Yeah, I got hungry later on. I ate it. So, I used to go in there and introduce myself. I was like, I said, here's the deal, Bart. You know who I am. I'm not gonna waste time telling you why we're here. Because he was kind of bothering one of the guests. And I said, you need to leave her alone, kind of go through the motion. He didn't like that. He kept saying, F you, for the ghost box. He eventually, I was like, here's the deal. She's leaving tomorrow. You're going to stay with her. You're going to leave her alone. You're not going to follow her back to where she's going, all that stuff. Just leaving it at that. Like, do you understand? And all of a sudden he goes, he left. He's not here. It's the box. It said
Bart left. Bart gone.
He left or something like that, yeah. And then, without missing a beat, that's when that noise occurred. Which, if it's Bart, a heavy male, running downstairs, getting pissed off, and I go, it threw me off for a loop. I'm like, wait a minute, what's that noise? It's below it. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And I was like, who left? I mean, what'd you say? And he goes, he left. And then I was like, that was crazy. So a few minutes after that, come out of the room, go down the hallway to see if we can figure out what's going on. I run into Jason and I'm blind with my light because I go, did you guys hear that noise? And they're like, what noise?
I was staring into the GoPro light right in my face.
So him and Paul were like, we didn't hear anything. I'm like, there was noises. It shook the whole building. I did not hear that. So I back up and go the opposite way, and we go down the stairs, run into the guests that you had just talked to, Max and Cody. You guys talked to guests, and they said they were concerned about what was going on too. The whole thing, I go down the first floor, and that time Tina the manager came back and surprised me. I'm like, oh, hey, what's up? Because she wasn't there. She left for the evening and came back prior to that. And she happened to catch all that and hear it.
Yeah,
So,
she was just walking in.
Yeah, and she heard it. She's like, I've never heard that before in my life. Her eyes were this big. She's like, I've never heard that before ever. And
Supposedly it happened twice.
yeah, I didn't hear this.
I didn't hear the first one.
I don't remember hearing that one. It's possible.
Well, and I know Nina stayed there without us before. She's been there
Right.
today, so I don't know if it happened like during that time or not.
Yeah. But I'm not the picture on screen.
That was something without the beard.
Yeah. So, anyways, we go. I go. Hey, we have DVRs on every floor, or cameras running on every floor. Let's go down and check it out. So, a group of us go down. Roth went down. Roth went down.
Roth, you here?
Went down with us downstairs.
Ask me later.
You'll get to that.
Yeah. Anyways.
Good night.
Anyways, we go down and start watching the footage of this thing going on. Up to the point we could pinpoint when it went, what happened.
It says like 234 on there.
Well, yeah, we found out that eventually. We knew that. We didn't know that at first because I started. It goes in 30-minute or hour increments. I think it is on the DVR. So I started from 2 o'clock, so we knew what happened about that time. The camera's in infrared. It's pitch black in there. It looks like somebody turns the light on in the whole hallway.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, that's weird. And then I'm waiting for somebody to come walking out because the camera's covering the whole area that where the light should be seen. People walking down the hallway. Nobody comes out, and it goes dark again. I'm like, what the hell? And then the ladies that you talked to came out of their room.
The ones that were asking for running by.
Yeah. They came out, and then a few seconds later, you guys come up the stairs and start talking to them. Oh, wait a minute. No, that's not true. I'm sorry.
No, we went around the corner
You
towards
weren't
where our room
They
was.
came out first.
And then we heard the running, so we came back, and that's
Yeah.
when we saw them.
They came out and looked around, and you could see on before that happened. No, I'm sorry. So they were playing tricks on each other. Remember, I forgot about that part. They're sisters. The one of them goes out to her room next door, and it's a funny story. That's why I'm telling this because she goes out around to her door to get something, and it's just waiting for her outside her door, and she like sticks her head out, and like, it's like holy shit, and hits her or whatever, you know, and gets pissed off, goes in the room. That's when, shortly after that, that's when the actual incident happened with the, because then the camera goes. Once again, it's in night vision, so it's black and white. It goes black. A big black mass just pops up and blocks out the camera. I think
Oh.
well, you can still see behind it though, at angles, but it was like right when this is when is on, and it's like
So see a little bit of the beads of the grid light.
yeah, it doesn't make
Behind
sense.
it,
I've never
yeah.
seen a camera do this.
Wow.
I'll show you when we have it ready. At that time, so after that, it disappeared, and then the ladies come out and look around like, what is going on? And that's when Max and Cody come up the stairs and meet her and say, hey, ask me if you heard anything. And then they go up the opposite way, and then not even a few seconds later, we came down the stairs and started talking to them, asking them, were you guys running down the hallway? Did you guys hear that? And they all heard that, you know.
Yeah.
And there's all four floors, with the exception of Jason's group in 309, heard it.
Mhm.
I don't know why you missed it.
I don't know.
Who knows? But
The last time I was there, I don't remember what room I was in. I was in that one. It was on the 3rd floor, and it was at the very end of the hall, right by the stairs.
313. No, 312. 312.
I don't remember.
There's a big one.
Yeah, it was one of those
It's
big ones.
312.
But after we shut things down for the night, I think everyone had passed out and gone to bed. But the next, I didn't hear any of it. But the next day, I heard a lot of people talking about how it just sounded like all hell broke loose in that hallway about 4 o'clock in the morning.
right.
Just it sounded like people running up and down the halls, and they've got those shutters on outside all the room doors.
Right.
Sounded like people slamming those around, and I didn't hear any of it, but a lot of people talked about it.
Right.
So
Jeremiah, we were in the basement with our grid, and it sounded like somebody literally. Did I say Jason or Jeremiah? I said Jeremiah, didn't I? No, it sounded like somebody dropping a 16-pound bowling ball down the stairs.
wow.
The lady that works there came running up to front of it because she said that she had never.
Wow.
I mean, it was like what somebody was hurt because it was that
by the
loud.
walk-in?
Huh?
Was it by the walk-in?
No, I'm saying we were downstairs in the bar, and we heard it. And even Tina, who works there, who hears that stuff running, she's like, "Who's hurt?"
Right. Wow.
It was that loud. We heard it downstairs, and we followed it. Our heads, if you go down and look at the camera, you see our heads go up, and then everybody just looks that direction because it just.
That's crazy. I wish I could have heard it.
Yeah. That's
We
it.
should have it on recorders.
We had all kinds of cameras running, recorders on multiple levels. I had a recorder in my hand,
Camera should
camera in
have
my hand, yeah. So hopefully I know it probably won't do it justice, it never does because of just how it sounded. But when it comes on audio, it's never that how it seems to be. But we'll figure it out and put it out there for you guys to see once you have a chance to go through everything. But I had fun last night. I don't know about you guys.
Oh, I had fun, regardless of not having anything done. Real activity.
You may get some stuff on your
I hope so.
EVPs.
I hope so.
Yeah.
It happens.
The one thing I can say that I actually had happen was, and I couldn't even explain if it was actually there, if it could have been somebody, from across the street or something, but up on the upper level, upstairs of the soda shop there, the doctor's office, heard a distinct, scream or yell. But it was like I said, it was sound far away, and I couldn't tell what direction or whatever it was coming from. But it was just odd that out of nowhere you hear this yell.
Yeah.
So I mean, other than that, that's it. Was it the guy that was there yelling at us from downstairs? Who knows?
Go with the flashlight incident with you guys.
You mean down in the?
With the soda shop, is that what happened?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
and Paul. Well, see, I I took 2 of the
Oh,
guests
you were
down
separated.
down the hall. Yeah, it's always away from me. I took 2 guests down to the dentist office to just kind of separate the group a little bit. And Paula, she went into you know that a small little apartment that's across from the Masonic Lodge in there.
Yeah,
Right there.
down the hall. Yeah.
She goes in there. She got something the last time we were in there.
Really?
She got it, and then she went in there. She had the millimeter and she had the flashlight, and she started asking questions, and the millimeter started ticking up, and she got the flashlight to go on and stuff with
Right.
questions, and so I could hear them talking about it. So I'm like, let's go down. Of course, I take my group in there, and it all goes away.
They're afraid of you, Jason. I keep trying to tell you.
It doesn't make it fun for me. You know.
I'm with you, Jason. I'm right
You should
there
have went
with
to
you.
306 with me. I got hugged.
Oh yeah, tell that story. You.
Yeah, well,
Hasn't been rubbed.
yeah, and it wasn't rope.
Are you sure?
See, I'm not the only person who does it, Rose.
I wasn't anywhere.
I was trying to beat them to the punchline.
Yeah, you did a good job. You did a good job.
So last year when they had the tour, the public investigation, Lena was actually in room 306 with her mom, and she felt like something had placed like their arm over her, and she's like, "Okay, why is my mom trying to cuddle me right now?"
I'm saying that. Yeah.
And it like started to squeeze. So she like sat up. Her mom was nowhere near her, totally rolled over on the other side of the bed, not facing her or anything. And she was like, "Oh, okay, whatever." Earlier in the day, yesterday, a guest had the same thing happen to her, and she just happened to be in mine and Aaron's group. So I was trying to be a smart ass, and I kind of was like, "Do you mind if I lay on your bed?" She's like, "Yeah." So I totally did the whole jump and flop and was like, "Hug me!" And what I felt was a pressure push down on my chest and shoulders. And I was like, I tried to sit up, and it wasn't easy, not because I'm heavy, but tried to sit up, and it was just a force that
Right.
I felt was on my chest, and the entire top of my shirt was freezing cold after that. And I was sweating, like,
Yeah,
I was
it was
hot.
hot. It was hot.
And just the entire top of my chest was freezing cold.
Interesting. And what room was that?
306.
306.
Which is across from the sheriff's.
Evil chicken.
Right now, yeah. Evil chicken? Oh, yeah, it was chicken. Those poor chickens.
No, overall, it seemed like it was a good night for activity, just various kinds. Some stuff was new. We had a kind of new name that we never associated with the place. We think is part of something that has to do with Bart, the sheriff that was hung. A girl's name now that we feel like, I don't know if it's his long lost love, his wife.
Yeah, calling that girl it or something, right?
Yeah. It's his daughter. We don't know much about it.
Right.
But it's a name we never knew, and every time it also came through our ghost box multiple times. And I kept saying, this girl's not Sarah. And he's like, oh, so what about Sarah? And I kept saying, Sarah. And I go, who is Sarah? I said, it's not her. I said, just her name is something else. And she goes, who do you think Sarah is? And he goes, her, without missing a beat. So it's just like, so apparently Sarah, maybe. There may be
Somehow,
a Sarah next to me, like you said. I don't know.
Maybe Sarah's Rose's mom.
You know, your guess is good as mine. Like I said, if only we had accurate documentation, because it's all burned up in the opera house in the basement.
I mean, I don't know, because Rose isn't really connected to Bart in any way, except for the fact that she may be frightened of him.
It's happened to be in the same hallway.
Yeah.
Yeah, for whatever reason. Well, her room, they say, is there. Which, this was a fun one when Jason and I were back when we first started going there with Rose and Larry that same time. Jason had a recorder set up in that room, Rose's room.
Yeah, we
It was
went
fun.
in. I put the recorder down on the bed rail, and then we walked out and closed the door.
We made him got something to eat across it. I don't know where
No,
we went.
we were
In the
getting
hallway?
hits in the hallway
Okay.
because you were following with the meter.
No,
and
we
stuff.
were, yeah.
We had those pictures from a couple episodes ago, right? When we started talking about it.
No, I don't think.
I don't think we were supposed to be fine. But Jason and I were doing our thing. We go back in there to check things out, and the bed had already been made, right? The house cleaning. This was after 3 o'clock, and check-in time should start. Check-in time. But anyway, Jason and I go back in there. He goes, our recorder's off. And as he's doing that, I'm looking down at the bed, and I notice the bed is no longer smooth. That there's some kind of prints in there. I'm like, what the hell? Looks like footprints, dude. And I'm taking pictures of this stuff, and I go, hey, Jason, I get the bright idea. Like, remind your recorder, because he thought it was dead. He thought the battery was gone, right? And you turn it on full power.
It was full power, and it was on hold. So whoever turned it off manipulated it to go off.
Right. So I go, fast forward to the part where it turns off. So Jason's sitting there fast forwarding, and then he goes, here it is right here with like maybe 10 seconds left, or 15, whatever it was.
I think we listened to the last minute.
Maybe that's what it was, yeah.
Just,
and then, what I thought.
You could hear what sounded like somebody shuffling footsteps going over. You can hear what sounds like somebody climbing onto the bed, and then someone jumping on the bed because you can hear the springs
Oh my goodness.
on
And
that.
we have
It
this
was-
picture. We have a picture of the footprint.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's when we just turned and looked at the bed. Was like,
Yeah.
is that really her?
It's like, and they look like small footprints. I mean, now I zoomed in on it, and I was showing people around the place and stuff like that. I've showed various people throughout the years, and somebody happened to just point out to me. They're like, "That's a skull there." I'm like, "Where's the skull? What?" So I look at it on the edge of the footprint, and it could be the bedspread that did pattern design. It's a white kind of cream-colored bedspread, and there's some like it's the old school style where it has like patterns that look like flowers or
Called on the stage, John.
yeah. Why do you know that? I'm just kidding.
You know, jack of all trades.
But
I can't quote.
it looks like half of a skull from the mouth up, teeth right here, the head. It's like 2 eyes, a nose. That it's not photoshopped. It's not. I know you can put ghost apps. All I did was take a picture
It
and
looks
zoom in.
just like.
It looks like a skull.
But it looks just like the
Yeah.
cloth.
It looks like it could be
Yeah.
and it could be matrix scene. I mean, but the fact that
But
some people
it blends in really well. 'Cause
Yeah.
You didn't see it right off.
I never noticed it until a person not even attached to our group, one of the guests or somebody who worked for, I don't know who it was, that mentioned it. And we're like, holy crap. It does look like a skull. But, like I said, the place is produced for us every time we've been there, it seems like. Last night was no exception. Produced again for some of us. Anybody else want to talk about anything else? That's kind of a final wrap up. We can probably stay on time. I know we were going to be short this week as far as the actual 2 hours.
Right.
But I think we're all tired and want to go home and actually get some decent sleep at some time.
And my back is on fire.
But it was a fun investigation.
Anything to add?
You know, I just think it's, I mean, talking to some of the guests, and, I really spend a lot of time with the guests and, yak at them and we have fun. And, these people live this stuff on TV, and they just can't wait to get an opportunity to do it and to be able to actually sit back and watch somebody experience something like that. To me, just makes that 10, 12 hour to 20 hour day all worth it. It really does.
Right.
Because we're giving people an opportunity to experience something like that. And, and like I tell every one of my groups before we start, there's a possibility you may not get anything. When you watch these guys on TV, they may spend 4 days there waiting to get stuff. So, if we play
We're
our
doing
part,
this very quickly.
yeah, we're doing. And so for Wilson to be able to get that much activity in a short period of time with that many people in an area is amazing.
Yeah. Well said.
I like
Yep. So, I mean, with that being said, now's your chance, opportunity to join us on a future event. We have a couple coming up. Our next one actually is going to be September 9th. Unfortunately, that one is sold out. It is over in Kansas. You heard us talk about it recently. It's sold out, which means we'll go back again sometime after the fact and do it again because it's sold out within 2 weeks. Or 2 days, I'm sorry.
We've got, it was sold out within just a matter of days.
We're just going to start calling us AK sold out.
We did have it on the show.
Yeah.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
I didn't
Just
remember.
it was episode 8.
Oh, we went over the road trip to Kansas. That's right. So, yeah, we'll do another one in Wilson and over at some point down the road. They want us back again. But the one you can take part of is coming up. There's 2 opportunities in October. October 13th is a Friday. We're going to be in Leavenworth. giving a talk, and also at a, what's it called again? I never remember the place's name, Gunners or something.
No, it's the Depot Diner. It's going to be the
that's
Ghost Hunt. The Ghost Hunt, you can get tickets at Ghost Tours of Kansas, as well as in Lawrence for the
next day, October 14th, at the famous Eldridge Hotel, where if you go on the website and do some research behind it, they actually have actual footage or actual photographs of something coming down the grand staircase, a woman walking down there, and I think she's in period piece clothing.
Oh, is that
elevator.
that?
And there's a figure in
Is
the
that-
elevator.
That famous picture, is
Yeah.
that there?
One of
The
them, Not
the
that one.
Yeah, it's the Eldridge Hotel in Lawrence.
Yeah.
There is a photograph. It pops up pretty quickly when you look at it.
Yeah.
Haunted Eldridge Hotel.
Jeremiah's frankly
The
behind the scenes
60s
trying to find
picture.
it.
It's a black and white
Yeah.
photograph of someone coming off the elevator,
Mhm.
and it's
Yeah.
it's
You need to put haunted in, just to help you out a little.
He's trying to find it real quick before our show ends. Sorry, guys.
Right.
But yeah, that was October 14th, the next day. So we have back-to-back days. You can do one, both.
Very first one.
So,
this one here?
In the elevator.
Oh, okay.
We also
Cool.
got Dodge coming up too.
well, that's private.
That's not
Yeah.
public.
Yeah. We're actually going to be back in Dodge City at some point soon. We'll be doing or just a team investigation only.
Yeah.
It's not open to the public.
try to help the new owners of the location to
Yeah.
figure out what's going on because they found out some more dark history with the place. So
Really?
we're just trying to figure out how to help them out because they're seeing a lot more activity now that they're back in there, starting again to renovate the place. So
All right. And that's just places that we've set up. If there's some place out there you want us to go, let us know and you can come with us. I mean, that's why we do this, for our own benefit, for the public's, the buildings we go to, but also for you guys to join, take part of it. We have equipment you can use that night. You can take part of the actual hunt. You can do what you want. What did you say?
What'd you say?
I was just,
Sorry.
Oh,
But like I said, that's your opportunity to take a part of it. Like I said, it's going to be some fun. We always have fun regardless. You can see how much fun we have on the podcast here. We like to joke around, have a good time. We do take it serious, though, during the investigation. We do.
I almost throat punched Aaron last night.
We still can. Go
Yeah,
for it.
I'm going to.
there's a picture of the
So-
elevator with the figure in the left-hand corner there
Yep.
in the elevator.
This is where we're going to be here, October 14th, where you can take part of it also, too. That's also through Ghost.
Those tours of Kansas, they have, last I know, they had 8 spots left.
So, yeah, it's going quick.
Basically, you just,
In the room, right?
I think it's renting a room or it's just pay for the ghost hunt. They may have just already blocked off I don't know how they're doing it.
Right.
But all info is at ghosttoursofkansas.com.
Have you looked at the pictures of the rooms for the
Yeah.
hotel?
Yeah.
They're fancy.
Oh, yeah, they're nice.
They're really nice.
As far as I know, only one group, not even a group, one ghost show has gone in there, and it's not one like Ghost Hunters, Ghost Adventures. It's like one of those ones that, like My Ghost Story or something,
Yeah.
or one of those ones. Is it that one?
Yeah.
Okay.
Was it? Yeah.
They were actually going. They
But
were
I
able to
can't
go in
find
there.
the episode.
They were able to go in there and film. So it's been out there and nationally known. I've always wanted to go. Every time I'm in Lawrence, I drive past it and see it. I'm like, I want to be in there one of these days. Well, now's our opportunity, and yours at home. So join us.
Yeah, so we're Ghost Tours of Kansas and us.
Yep.
We're going to be the first ones to actually do like a full-on investigation of it.
Cool.
So
So come take
it's
part
going
of
to
it.
be a lot of fun.
And yeah, we have about 7 minutes left, guys. So final thoughts.
I'm
Ready?
tired.
Not
Very
final thoughts. That's a
tired.
fact.
I'm ready to wrap. I'm ready to wrap it up.
Good night, Neverland.
You guys are a bunch of wimps.
Lightweight.
Jamie, you have anything to say? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, she's
Thanks for
mad.
having me, guys.
She's mad at us that she can't go to
Lawrence.
Oh,
She's
really?
like, I want to stay in the hotel. I said, I don't. Not because I'm scared, but because it's too fancy for me.
Just
Jeremiah,
scared.
anything you want to say? Take a big drink of your drink on scene.
No, I think it was a good show tonight. Started off rocky, but
Yeah.
uh,
About both.
No, I think
You awake down there still? I can't see
I'm
you.
awake.
Oh, you
I know, it's
Big
in
lug
the
heads.
ground or faster.
You got big heads. That's kind of obvious. I'm kidding. No, anyways, I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode. We had fun. Next week we'll be back, same time, same friendly place.
We'll pick a topic
Yep.
and advertise it ahead of time. That way we can make sure we
Yeah.
are on topic.
Yeah. And once again, if there's anything you want to hear us talk about, by all means, email us, Facebook us, stalk us. We probably already did. Kidding. No, really, let us know what you want to hear about. We'll talk about it. Nothing's off limits. We love stirring the pot, poking the bear, as people say.
Fucking Sasquatch.
Yep.
Sasquatch. That sounds like a bad idea.
Well, it never turns up well for jacklings.
Maybe that's why we haven't found him yet, because everyone that actually has found him is like, "Hey, Sasquatch," and he's like, "Squish."
If you like what you saw tonight, hit the subscribe button on the YouTube page. You'll get notified, and anytime we do anything. And then don't forget to follow and like us and follow us on Facebook. Share the videos. Share all the posts. Let's get the word out there.
Right.
So.
Good night, Renee.
We're not out. You're jumping the
What
gun.
are
We
you
gotta go home and go to
You got
sleep.
4 minutes.
Also, with that being said, we do have a YouTube page for I'm about to say Eldridge, for the Everyday Legacy Paranormal. There's a YouTube page for that. Like, subscribe there too. Also, go follow us on every social media known to man. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, Instagram.
Why do you have an Instagram?
Does that take pictures?
No, wait, Pinterest. Why do you have a Pinterest?
That was our former team.
Yeah, that wasn't us.
Happened to be a female that ran it
Can we
before.
say their name?
Say it. I think we should.
Claire.
Yeah.
Claire, why? Do you have ghost like recipes?
No, she had some.
It's ghost on tape.
She had. I can say a picture now, but yeah. She
She's already in her car on her way down here.
Yep.
If I know her. Ben's
if
going.
this drums up more business, I don't care. We can be on every goddamn website for all I care. So no pun intended. Sorry, I mean not pun intended, but no disrespect. Sorry, but I mean I'm on anything
No
that.
pun either, but
But no, we'll be on anything. Like I said, just find us.
are we on MySpace?
I have no idea.
We're on my face.
MySpace?
We're on my face.
Some people still
You're on your face. Yes, you are.
Does MySpace even still exist?
I don't know.
It does.
Does it really?
I don't know if it works or not. I haven't been on it, but I know it was.
That's it.
So-
Going home and making it.
But
Cryptic
you guys
Heartland
just grasping
MySpace.
at straws now, man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Straws?
yeah.
Did you say
Okay.
straws?
Sorry.
Okay, I'm cutting the cord.
Gotcha.
We need to end
All
this.
right. So we're gonna call it a night. Thanks again, guys. People at home, people in the studio. And
Please send Roth straws.
he loves straws. Yeah,
Just send them to him.
he needs them.
And butter.
Butter.
Yeah, he likes
It's
butter.
an inside joke, guys. Sorry. But once again, thank you guys at home. We'll see you next time. Same place.
Good night.
Good night, guys.
Straws and butter.
And we're off.
I have no idea why they said butter.
Huh?
You did too.
Shut up. I know.
You have a bun in the oven. You told me yourself.
That's fine.
No, the mic is still going.
Oh.
Hey!
Here.